some of you might have heard of my Komodo dragon, monitor lizard being brought to the shores of Britain, living here for a while, and then dying. And while the locals came in contact with it, these legends of Nuka dragons popped up in Sussex as a theory. And it is kind of plausible, you know, like the Romans did have trade routes all the way up to Indonesia, certainly down to the southern tip of India, and they could have come in contact with these things, and they certainly were known for bringing elephants, lions, all these other things to Britain. So why wouldn't they perhaps have picked up a few of them and brought them here? And could they have escaped and lived here for a few years and then given birth to these legends? Because all the characteristics match up. But I've also come to the conclusion, or not the conclusion, I've come to the idea now that perhaps all of that is all of this dragon stuff is a link to old mythology within Beowulf. So like, it seems like the very last section of Beowulf that covers the dragon is a separate story that's been added on to the original story, and later on, I think, and they were trying to almost like deify Beowulf, and make sure that people understood that the line succession went down to Wiglaf the Mercian. The way I've translated it just got to be right. It's just like too coincidental otherwise. The real life Wiglaf the Mercian king and Beowulf the Mercian king. But the interesting part here is that if you understand the legend of Thor, Thor has his magical hammer, Mjolnir, and he fights the world serpent and is bitten by it, and that bite produces a poison which then kills him. Now, that is incredibly similar to the Beowulf legend. Again, it's a poisonous dragon. Now, that's quite a rare thing to hear about, other than in this Thor story and in Beowulf. We all think of them as fire-breathing things, not as poisonous things. So these are very critical details. And that, you know, I was trying to place it into a real-world possibility, but I'm wondering, I don't know, and I'm wondering if that entire story has been fabricated to link Beowulf into this idea of Thor godliness, which would make sense again, because the Mercians were more pagan than Wessex. So if Wessex had written it, there might not have been that allusion to this dragon. If Wessex had written the end of Beowulf, or even the whole of it, I feel like they're both written by the Mercians, both parts of the story, and they have been elaborated on, and we call it mythologicalized. But yeah, these are interesting things, that Thor connection and the Beowulf connection. I think that's quite likely now, you know, but it also wraps around a reality that really did occur. There is a basis of truth to some of the story, even the dragon story, but perhaps not even about the dragon. But we do have all these Miyake events and Aurora Borealis and references in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle talking about, you know, fiery dragons, and they're talking about those Miyake events because the times match up. And the fact that we then find out that the dragon in Beowulf only flies at night, that is critical. If we understand that he only flies, he waits until nightfall before he flies, and then he returns to his lair in the morning, that implies that, why is that? Why can't he fly in the day? It's because it's daylight, and you can't then see the Aurora Borealis, like, you know, and then he's waiting for night, and then night comes, and there we go, you know, like, and then I think there are also some comets and other things that may have given birth to that legend. We have to look at these things from their point of view when they knew nothing about this stuff. I imagine they were more easily influenced by fantastical ideas that were brought to them, you know. And who knows, really knows. But I just thought it was a kind of an interesting one, that Thor connection to the Beowulf connection, with the poisonous dragon.